So in today's video, I wanted to talk about one of the most powerful tools that all of your favorite guitarists use, even if you aren't aware that they're doing it. And it's this power of when improvising or even writing, but again, I tend to think that improvising and writing music are basically the same thing, just improvising happens fast and composing or writing something is really just improvising slowly with the chance to go back and edit it. But it's this idea of using motifs, and I've talked about motifs quite a bit on this channel, but I wanted to do this one from a kind of different lens just to give you a really approachable way to kind of start thinking about and start practicing these things, because it's one of those things that's really easy to understand the idea of, but it's hard to kind of methodically practice. And so, first of all, what is a motif? A motif is a repeating kind of phrase that happens, multiple times, and it tends to evolve as it goes. So, for example, a classic example of this would be Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. If you aren't familiar with that one, yes, you are. You just don't know the name of the Fifth Symphony. That's the one that goes da-na-na-na. What is it? That one. So that is a perfect example of a motif. Now, if I were to put it in the context of guitar, say I was playing over just a simple B flat backing track. My motif there was da 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 da, that little kind of thing. And this is something that I think is really easy to overlook, but I guarantee you a lot of your favorite solos and your favorite players use this all the time to do stuff, because when a musician doesn't use motifs or doesn't do the kind of motifs brother would be motivic development, it kind of feels like we all know someone who's like crazy ADHD, maybe they're prone to over-caffeination. And when you talk to them, they're like, oh, the other day I was in the park and I saw a dog. And did I tell you that Jim and Sandy broke up? And they go all over the place. It's kind of exhausting sometimes to be around someone like that. And in my experience, a lot of intermediate improvisers are motor mouths when they're improvising, rather than taking these kind of simple things. So to prescribe a kind of practice routine to try and do this, you can do this in just 5 to 10 minutes a day, and it'll start, I think, manifesting. Is you can pick a single tonality or chord. So say, for example, I was using B flat, but let's make it even more guitar specific. Let's say I'm playing over A minor, and let's say my motivic, what I'm going to use to develop whatever motives come up, is going to be the A minor pentatonic scale. Everyone's favorite. For some reason, it's always A minor. But let's say I record either a loop, or you could even just look up an A minor backing track. That's a fantastic way to go about it too. But for this instance, I'm going to use a loop, and I'm just going to record a simple little groove. So let's say I went. So over this, I'm just going to think of a simple little motif I can play, and I'm going to try to hang on to it a little bit. So let's say I just start with a super simple, let's say it's a 2-note motif. 1, 2, ready? Oh, I'm looping on top of myself. Let me try that one more time now. So let's say I went. So let's keep that da-na. So I'm going to try to hang on to that. Da-na. So I'm hanging on to that super simple buena, buena. And again, I'm pushing it around, but I'm trying to keep that simple little core in my head. And the trick to doing this when you're practicing, just trying to do it, is I would just try really hard to keep things related to that single motif. I'm going to hit that backing track again, and we'll see if I can give you another example of something that might be useful. So let's say I have a little bit more complicated of one. Let's say it's... So there, I actually kind of messed around with two. The first one was da 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 da. And again, I don't need to play the exact same thing over and over again, but it's this idea of building on what you're doing rather than necessarily doing the same thing again. Like, no one's gonna want to listen to you if your improv sounds like this. 2, 3, 4, and you just do. You can get away with 2 or 3 of the same thing, but if I just keep going, anyone who paid money to come see me at the bar is not going to come back, right? So the trick is taking da da ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da da ba da 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 da. So there, again, I kind of had 2 motifs that I was going between, but I really hope it's clear this idea of just trying to build on what you did using these simple little harmonic frameworks to kind of build it. And then as you get better and better at this, you can start moving them around chord progressions and whatever. But I just wanted to make a video kind of showing you an easy process to start actually practicing developing these motifs. It's just improvising with a simple bit of language. So again, I'm just using the harmonic palette and melodic palette of the minor pentatonic scale in those examples. But I'm just trying to keep the idea going and move it to other parts of the scale and have things kind of develop. So I hope this made sense. If anything's unclear, please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you could know. If you want to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description there. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you want to support me in the free educational content that I put out here, you could subscribe to my Patreon. All of my patrons get early access to videos as well as some cool behind the scenes sneak peeks at stuff that I'm working on, so I'd love to see you over there. I also have an ebook and a video course all about triads that are available for sale, linked down in the description as well. It's a great way to get some kind of more in-depth educational content from me than I can fit in, a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I've got new videos coming out every single week, so I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.